Chandrababu Naidu wants people in Andhra to have more children.
పిల్లలే మీకు సంపదను నిరూపించే బాధ్యత నాదని మరొకసారి హామీ ఇస్తున్నా.
Not just one or two, but 3 or 4 children.
మూడో చైల్డ్కి 30,000 రూపాయలు పుట్టిన వెంటనే ఇస్తాం. నాలుగో చైల్డ్కి 40,000 రూపాయలు ఇస్తాం.
Now, at first, this may seem like one of those bizarre political statements that pop up every few months and disappear from the news cycle. But Naidu's anxiety comes from a real place. South Indian states are worried about falling fertility rates, aging populations, and even losing political influence in the future. All this because they successfully control the population. But asking people to simply have more babies may be one of the most misguided ways to respond to these problems. Because population decline is not just about numbers. It's about whether people can actually afford to raise children, whether schools, hospitals, childcare systems, and jobs are strong enough to support families, and whether governments are trying to solve structural problems with simplistic solutions. So this week, let's look at who ultimately ends up paying the price for policies like these. Let me explain. Now, before we get into the politics of it all, we have a small request. At the News Minute, we spend a lot of time trying to unpack complicated stories beyond outrage and headlines. Whether it's politics, gender, cinema, caste, misinformation, or policy, we try to tell you stories with depth and context. And our work takes time, effort, and independence. We do not run on political funding. We rely only on our readers and viewers to support our work. So if you value independent journalism that actually explains the news instead of just screaming through it, consider supporting Let Me Explain by scanning the QR code on your screen, or you can click the link in the description below. Now back to Naidu. This is not the first time he's spoken about population decline. Over the past few years, Naidu has repeatedly warned that South India could end up facing the same crisis countries like Japan and South Korea are dealing with. Aging populations, shrinking workforces, and fewer young people supporting older generations. And yes, to an extent, the concern is real. Fertility rates in South India have dropped sharply over the decades. Tamil Nadu's total fertility rate is around 1.4. Andhra and Karnataka are around 1.7, Kerala and Telangana are slightly higher. A fertility rate of around 2.1 is generally considered necessary for a population to remain stable in the long run. Part of Naidu's anxiety comes also from politics. Southern states fear that delimitation will eventually happen. This means Lok Sabha seats could be redistributed based on population. They worry that Hindi belt states may gain much greater political representation because their populations grew faster. That fear deserves a serious discussion. We've addressed all this in detail in another episode of Let Me Explain, so do check out that if you want a deeper breakdown. But even if these fears are real, the solution being proposed here is deeply misguided. Because people are not having fewer or no children without a reason. Children are expensive. Housing, education, healthcare, transport, coaching, everything costs much more now. Which makes a 30 or a 40,000 rupee incentive look less like a serious long-term solution and more like a symbolic announcement. And then there's the condition of public infrastructure. Because if governments want people to raise more children, shouldn't they first ensure decent schools, hospitals, childcare support, and employment opportunities? A recent ASCR report found that nearly half of Class 8 students in both Andhra and Telangana could not properly read a Class 2 level Telugu text. And this is not the only indicator showing deeper structural problems. Independent studies using the UN's HDI methodology placed Andhra's HDI at 23 in India, which is far behind other states despite Andhra's economic ambitions. Many government schools still lack basic infrastructure. Healthcare systems continue to be uneven. Unemployment remains a major concern. And nutrition indicators among children are worrying. Let's look at data from NFHS 5, which is a Government of India survey providing data on population health and nutrition. It found that stunting among children under 5 in Andhra stood at 31%. And most of these conversations around population and fertility often ignore the condition of women themselves. NFHS 5 also found that nearly 60% of women in Andhra were anemic, which is the highest among South Indian states and significantly above the national average, which is 53%. So the obvious question becomes, why is the state focusing on increasing population before improving the quality of life for people already there? And perhaps the biggest issue being ignored in all of this is women. Because when politicians say have more children, who are they actually asking?
ఇది కరెక్ట్ అయిన నిర్ణయం అని మిమ్మల్ని అడుగుతున్నా. మా ఆడబిడ్డలు చెప్పండి అమ్మా, మీరేమంటారు?
Women are still expected to work outside the home while also carrying most domestic labor inside it. There's actually a term researchers use for this, the motherhood penalty. A recent article in the News Minute looked closely at this very issue. It points out that childbirth often comes with a direct economic cost for women. Careers slow down, wages drop, and employment becomes more precarious. And this burden is not shared equally, because in India, women still do more unpaid domestic and care work than men, even when they're employed full-time. So when governments say have more children, they are often speaking as if childcare is simply a demographic issue. But for millions of women, it is also a labor issue, an economic issue, and a question of personal freedom. Especially because the support system barely exists. Affordable childcare remains limited and paternity leave is minimal. And a large number of Indian women work in informal sector, where maternity protections are almost non-existent. And money is a huge component too. Because who's most likely to respond to these incentives? It's certainly not wealthy families, which means poorer households may end up having larger families without adequate support systems to sustain them. And then what? Can the state provide quality education, healthcare, nutrition, and jobs for these children? The evidence right now is certainly not encouraging.